everybody, Zee Garcia here, and welcome back to my Unsung Gems series of videos. Today we're looking at games that begin with the letter F. And this series is about games that maybe don't get as much recognition as I think they should. Games that maybe aren't perfect, but they did something clever and interesting, or just quirky, or just outside of the box. And I want to, well, take a little moment and maybe sing some praises. So, let's go ahead and kick it off with my first pick here. First up, I've got a two-player card game from Japan that is called Fan and Mallet. This is a very strange-looking little game. It's got some bizarre artwork of, and I don't even want to say anthropomorphic because they're not, but it's like sort of living buckets of water and umbrellas and things. Imagine like a bucket filled with water, and it has arms and legs. It's very strange. And in the game, the game really is one of those like colors and numbers card games in which you play a card on your turn to one of these different locations, one of the little card pile, and then move a little meeple to that. And you're going to be building up these locations. And it's basically an area control game. Once a place has enough cards to be counted as complete, then you compare your strength total of the cards there to your opponent's, and whoever wins, of course, gets closer to ultimate victory. That's it. That's all there is to it. It's interesting. It's clever. It's sort of quirky and really outside the box. But that's all sort of first impression stuff. Once you get in the box and you understand how to play and you play it out, it feels pretty straightforward. And I like that part of it. I've always enjoyed two-player card games. I like colors and numbers kinds of games, especially if they do something clever. And I think this one does. So that is Fan and Mallet. Next up, I'm taking a look at a game called Fantasy Defense. This is a fantasy-themed game, which is sort of a tower defense game. You can play this with two, I believe, but I've played it mostly solitaire. And in it, you are going to be having fantasy characters. You're going to be playing them to different locations, trying to defend against big baddies wrecking your things. It's a gorgeously produced game. It's got artwork all over it that it looks kind of like Michael Menzel, I think it is. It looks like his artwork, but it's not. It just looks amazing. And a cool sort of package. It feels like a neat, different solitaire game. It's got some issues. Some of the difficulty is quite high. The math starts to get a little higher than I would like, but the game does something different in that tower defense space. And if you are someone who enjoys tower defense gaming, board gaming, video gaming, whatever, and you like fantasy, and you look at this cover or look at some of the illustrations from the game and you find yourself fascinated, then this is one I certainly would recommend you try out. Fantasy Defense surprised me when I first played it, and I think it might have the same effect on you. It does something that that perhaps you're not expecting it to do in a clever and interesting way. So there you go. That is Fantasy Defense. All right, now I'm taking a look at the newest game on the list. This is one I've reviewed, I don't know, maybe a year ago. And it's a game called The Few and Cursed. This is based on a comic book of the same name in a post-apocalyptic world, which of course has reverted to basically the Old West because that's how post-apocalyptic worlds work. And it is a game that throws absolutely everything at the wall. It is a deck-building game. It feels kind of like Defenders of the Realm. It feels kind of like Ascension. It just sort of has so many parts thrown together, and somehow they work. The rule book's a bit of a mess, because I'm really not selling this, right? I will say this, okay? Of all the games I'm talking about today, this is one that's in my collection. I don't expect it to leave the collection, because it is a really fun game. And if you come at it from that point of view first, yes, it's a little clunky. Yes, it's a little long and a little bizarre. Yes, I got to reread this. It's fun. It's really fun. You're going to be building a deck, moving around this the board, which has different locations, and finding cursed items, and fighting zombies and these monstrosities and just outlaws in general. And then going back to town and buying bullets, and water in it is your currency. So you're buying bullets and increasing your health. You have to manage your curse. You have this curse put on you. And if you cross a threshold, you are now cursed. You will have, some things are better now for you. You might be more powerful because you're cursed. But other things are worse for you. If you take hits, that'll be bad. So the whole thing feels like a bit of a Frankenstein game, but it is engaging and fun, and if you like the world especially, I've never even read this comic, but I've wanted to after playing this game. If you like this world, I think you're really going to enjoy it. So that is The Few and Cursed, a really out there sort of game that feels both like its own thing because the theme and what's going on is so clever, but also very much like maybe many other games you have played. I like it. I think I recommend it. So there you go, The Few and Cursed. This next one is almost more of an activity than a game, really, and it's certainly the weirdest one of all the ones I'm talking about to get today. This is a game called Film Frenzy. And the way this works is, it's a deck of cards. You're going to have some cards in your hand, and the way you play this game is by watching some generic action-y movie, okay? The cards, so this is something, again, it's kind of like an activity where you are like, oh, I feel like putting something on the TV, but also let's play this game. In the game, there are a bunch of cards, and the cards have on them cliches that you're going to see in movies. Like, you know, one might say, play this card when a countdown clock shows up on the screen. So if there's like a bomb counting down and that comes on the screen, you can be like, and you play this thing. And then, you know, get new cards and all this stuff. If somebody jumps from a helicopter or you see a helicopter, a speedboat, if somebody, whatever, right? Like, it's all these sort of action movie cliches. I like the artwork in it. I think it's very cartoony and clever. And it is something that you're not going to play seriously. You can't even play it without watching a movie. But if you want to do something silly while you watch something and reminisce about some movie you haven't watched in a while that you thought was maybe not the greatest thing, then this is a game that's going to liven up that experience, okay? So if you see it on the cheap, if you want to look for something that's just really different and quirky, then Film Frenzy manages to capture that in an actually pretty clever and interesting way. So there you go. Last one for me today is a racing game called Formula E. And Formula E is about racing elephants. This is one of the co-designers on this game is Bruno Fedudi, who is known for having pretty chaotic games. I think this one is no different. In it, you are, like I said, racing elephants. And along the way, there's going to be things that mess with you. There are, obstacles along the way. Besides that, you have a hand of cards. And those cards have numbers on them, which are how far you can move, as well as things you can play to mess with that, okay? You've got a card. Normally, your elephant can only basically barrel forward until you hit something. Then you can spend an action to move sideways. So they're just kind of barreling down the track. Well, there's one card, I think it's called Mango Juice. You can play Mango Juice, and now your elephant can move corner to corner, so it can move diagonally, saving you some actions. You can weave between things, right? Because I guess your elephant is covered in mango juice. It makes the elephant slippery. Everybody knows this. I don't have to explain it to you. There are going to be little mice along the track that are going to scare elephants. And, they sort of move around. You can mess with other people and push them back. The whole thing is just sort of riotous and chaotic and fun. It's a goofy, fun game. Looks good. Plays fairly quickly. They had some alternate tracks even, when the game came out. So, yeah, if you're a real big fan of racing games and you don't mind them being kind of chaotic and you like weird themes, then you probably don't own a game about racing elephants. And hey, maybe you should, Mango Juice also. So there you go. That is my list for Unsung Gems F edition. That's going to do it, everybody. Let me know in the comments below, of course, which ones you like in this category. What F game have I not played that maybe I should or other people should drop it down there. And as always, thanks for watching the video and hanging out with me. My name is Zee Garcia, folks. I appreciate you. I'll see you on the next one.